Hello, my name is Mr. Gaynor. I'm the head of Wickersley Sixth Form. This presentation will explain briefly what Sixth Form is. It will also explain the difference between Sixth Form and lower school. And what I'd also like to do very briefly in this presentation is explain the difference between Sixth Form and other places that you can go when your GCSEs are over, for example, colleges. Now, this is very much an introduction to Sixth Form. Throughout your time in Year 11, you'll receive lots of information about Sixth Form, including how to apply. This is very much, as I said, an introduction to Sixth Form. So what is Sixth Form? Well, after your GCSEs are finished, you can stay at Wickersley for another 2 years to study more qualifications. Now, the term Sixth Form is used to describe these years, Years 12 and Year 13. Now, you're aware that this school has a Sixth Form attached to it. And although we're a part of Wickersley School, a Wickersley Sixth Form student's day-to-day experience is different to what you're experiencing at the minute. So even though we're very much a part of Wickersley School, your experience in Wickersley Sixth Form will be different to what you're experiencing now. Now, students have to apply to study at Wickersley Sixth Form. So you submit an application to study with us during Year 11. We also welcome applications from students who haven't studied at Wickersley for the GCSEs. So students from anywhere can apply to study at Wickersley Sixth Form. So students from across Rotherham or sometimes even further afield. Now, a day at Wickersley Sixth Form is different to the school days that you have experienced before. For example, in lower school at the minute, you are studying around 10 subjects. A Sixth Form pupil usually studies 3 subjects. Some might study 4. So not 10 that you have in your timetable, but just 3. At the minute, you have around 2 lessons per subject per week. Sixth Form pupils have 4 lessons per subject per week. Now, your timetable, because you're studying 10 subjects, is full of lessons, whereas a Sixth Form student does not have a timetable which is full of lessons. They usually have 12 lessons where they'll be in a classroom on their timetable per week, but they'll also have, as well as that, independent study and some other things too, which I'll explain shortly. Now, students can choose to use that time how they wish. So when they're not in the classroom, we expect our students to be working on their studies, and most students actually choose to spend that time in school in places like the common room, for example. However, some students might choose to use their non-lesson time, their independent study time, at home, and that's fine. As a lower school student, you must wear school uniform. You'll notice that our Sixth Form students don't. So Sixth Form students can wear their own clothes. They do have to follow our dress code, but as long as what they're wearing does follow our dress code, then they can choose to wear what they wish. So what is the difference between Sixth Form and college? This is a question that I often get asked by students. Now, Sixth Forms tend to be smaller than colleges. Less students attend. Now, this is an advantage because it means that our classes tend to be smaller. Now, the majority of students who study at Wickersley Sixth Form come from Wickersley School. So if you choose to study at Wickersley Sixth Form, you'll be surrounded by other students who you are familiar with. We do have lots of students who come from other places. Most students have come from Wickersley. That's different to college. If you go to college, you'll find there'll be much more of a mix of students from lots of different places. Now, colleges may offer more variety in the courses that they deliver. So you might find some colleges offer qualifications and courses that we don't, particularly work-based qualifications. So there are some colleges in Rotherham, for example, Rotherham College, that offer more work-based qualifications, and these might be more suitable for you if you know exactly what you want to do in the future. Because we're smaller, we can't offer the amount of courses that other places offer around Rotherham. Our colleges may give students a little more independence. Because we're a Sixth Form attached to a school, it means the way in which we operate and work is very similar to the way in which lower school operates. So the things that we do in Sixth Form, you'll be very familiar with. So we have data collections, just like you have now, parents' evenings, for example, just like you have Now that can be seen as an advantage. So you'll be very familiar with the way that sixth form operates as a Wickersley pupil. Now, as I mentioned earlier, sixth form pupils don't spend all their time on their timetable actually in lesson. And what we have in sixth form is something we call enrichment, which are extracurricular opportunities. Now, these are activities which are designed to enhance your time at Wickersley. Now, these activities are designed to develop skills which will benefit you inside and outside of the classroom. And here are some examples of enrichment activities that we've had in the past. You don't get any sort of qualification for most of these. So some you do, but most of them you don't. But we think that these enrichment activities will really benefit you in the future. So they're designed to develop personality traits and characteristics which will really strengthen your applications to other places when you finish sixth form, be that university or be that the world of work. Now, these take place outside of lesson time. So as I said, a typical student only has 12 lessons per week. Some of those other lessons that students have, where they're not in the classroom, we will expect them to take part in enrichment activities. Now, these are enjoyable, but also you will develop key skills which will strengthen your applications when you leave sixth form too. So what type of qualifications do we offer in sixth form? Well, I guess when people think of sixth form and they think of colleges, they tend to think of A-levels first. Now, A-level stands for advanced level, and this is studied across 2 years. Now, the grade that you achieve at the end of this 2 years ranges from A star to E. Now, A-levels are primarily assessed by exams. Some courses do have coursework units in them, but most A-levels are assessed by exams at the end of the 2-year course. Now, these are more theory-based and classroom-based. Now, if you are a student who really enjoys exams, then you'll find that A-levels are probably the option for you. Now, it's worthwhile thinking about where you want to go when you finish sixth form, because if you're thinking about going to universities, if you're thinking about applying for specific courses, then some of those do have a bias towards A-levels, which means that you as a student need to have studied an A-level in order to access that particular course. The other main type of subject that we offer in sixth form are our applied subjects. Now, these are practical based or vocational qualifications. Vocational means work based. Now, these tend to be more coursework based subjects. So these contain within them written assessments and practical activities. Now, if you're not a student who enjoys exams, then these might be a better option for you. So you'll complete a series of units, some core and others optional. These can be very specific to certain careers though. So for example, an applied subject we offer in sixth form is health and social care, which is designed for students who want to go into a career in health and social care. Now, whilst A-levels have long been considered the path to university, applied subjects are a valid alternative. And when it comes to making an application for university, applied subjects are worth the same as A-levels. So they are equal. So they're not a lesser qualification, and they can get you to where you need to go. It's worth considering. Now, when it comes to applying for sixth form, you need to look at this document very, very carefully. Now, this is the option block document for this year, and this option block document does change, and it's really important that I make that clear to you now. And you'll notice that this is divided into columns. So you've got the colourful columns at the top, and then you've got the green section at the bottom. Now, the colourful columns at the top, these are our academic subjects. So I've just mentioned briefly before what A-level subjects are, and you'll find our A-level subjects up here in this academic section. At the bottom, you'll find our applied subjects. Now, you'll notice here that some of these subjects actually span across 2 columns. Now, that means they are worth twice as much, and I'll explain what that means shortly. When it comes to making an application for sixth form, students need to pick a subject from each column. So, for example, a student could pick biology from option block A, business studies from option block B, and fashion and textiles from option block C. But you can mix your academic and applied qualifications. So, for example, you could pick biology in A, business in B, and health and social care single option in C. Now, I did mention these double subjects at the bottom. So with these subjects here, they're worth twice as much as a single option. So a student, for example, could just pick biology in option block A and double health and social care. And that health and social care qualification counts as 2 option choices. Most students pick 3 option choices, but you can pick 4. This does change. You will find much more information about this on our website, and you'll find a section for each department as well. And you'll find on that specific page a breakdown as to what the subject is, what is taught, and how it's assessed. So please go to our website to explore this in more detail. And I must stress that this can change. So when you're applying for sixth form in the autumn, this option block document may have changed. So it's worthwhile checking back for the latest one on our website. That's a brief introduction to sixth form. So a little bit of an overview as to what makes us different to other providers and what makes us different to lower school. So as I said earlier, you have to make an application to sixth form. And in order to study at sixth form, we require students to gain at least 4 grades at GCSE. Now that will secure you a place at sixth form, but each department, each subject has their own entry requirements. So what you need to do is you need to look at the subject-specific pages on our website very carefully, and that will give you the entry requirements for specific subjects. So just because you've gained a place in sixth form, it doesn't guarantee that you can study any subject. And we have entry requirements for a good reason, because we want to make sure that students are on the courses which are appropriate for them and they are right for them. And entry requirements help us do this. When you apply to sixth form, we will look at your predicted grades to help us determine which subjects are suitable for you. So when you come down to sixth form for your interview, we'll look at your predicted grades and we'll see whether or not your option choices marry up with the entry requirements and your predicted grades. You can find more information about our entry requirements on our website on the subject-specific pages. As I said, you will submit an application to study at Wickersley sixth form. It's nothing to worry about now. You will do that in the autumn term. You will do that after our information evening. As a Wickersley student, you submit your application via your form tutor. So it's very quick, it's very easy. It's just a case of telling your form tutor that you intend to apply to sixth form, and then we pick up the rest. Our information evening will be held in mid-November. So this has very much been an outline of sixth form and a bit of an introduction to sixth form. You're invited to our information evening, which will be held at some time in mid-November, and more details will follow on the school website. And it's at this evening you'll be able to visit all the different departments. You'll find out more information about what the subjects actually entail. And I will also give you a little bit more information about the application process and a little bit more information about sixth form as well, and how we operate and what is really important to us. But as I said, I just wanted this presentation to be a bit of an introduction to sixth form. You will get more information as you progress through year 11. Thank you.